Right, let's go on to the subclasses then. So kicking off with the Bard College of Spirits. Both of these subclasses have been in the Unearthed Arcana, which is how Wizards of the Coast release test material that people can look at, and then you can fill out a form to say what you think about them. So let's kick off the Bard College of the Spirits. So at level 3 you get Guiding Whispers. So you learn a cantrip Guidance, which we were just talking about, which doesn't count to one of the cantrips you know, and it has a range of 60 feet when you cast it. So I believe it's a touch spell usually. In fact, I can hover here. Yeah, it's a touch spell usually. So it gets a range of 60 feet, which is actually pretty powerful. Guidance is already arguably a bit overpowered as a cantrip. So giving it a range of 60 feet, you don't even need to be next to the person. You could be off in the sidelines hiding, and while they're trying to convince some people not to attack them, you can give them guidance with a spectral spirit, which is very nice. Spiritual focus. You employ tools that aid channeling your spirits. You can use the following objects as a spellcasting focus for your bard spells: a candle, crystal ball, skull, spirit board, or tarot deck. Usually for bards it is a musical instrument of some kind, so this is making the spellcasting focus something a bit more spiritual, which is nice as well. And then there's this nice little bit of art here of someone using a tarot deck to cast a spirit there. Starting at 6th level, when you cast a bard spell that deals damage or restores hit points through the spiritual focus, roll a d6 and you gain a bonus to 1 damage or healing roll of the spell equal to the number rolled. Okay, so you just get to enhance it a bit, so sort of similar to giving you the guidance. A guidance spell, you also can then roll a d6 to get a bit more damage or a bit more healing, which is very nice. So that's if you are using the spell focuses. 3rd level, you get Tales from Beyond. You reach out to spirits who tell the tales through you. While you are holding your spiritual focus, you can use a bonus action to expend 1 use of your bardic inspiration and roll on the spirit Tales table using your bardic inspiration die to determine the tale the spirits direct you to tell. You retain the tale in mind until you bestow the tale's effect or you finish a short rest. Okay, there's a lot of confusing language in that, so let's continue. You can use an action to choose 1 creature you can see within 30 feet of you to be the target of the tale's effect. Once you do so, you can't bestow the tale's effect until you roll it again. You can retain only 1 of these tales in mind at a time, and rolling on the spirit table immediately ends the effect of the previous tale. Okay. So let's have a look at some of these then. There's quite a few. So for the next 10 minutes, whenever the target makes an intelligence, wisdom, or charisma check, the target can roll an additional die immediately after rolling the d20 and add that die to the check. The extra die is the same as your bardic inspiration. Okay. I'm wondering why you wouldn't just roll your bardic inspiration there. Have I missed something? So if you roll an intelligence, wisdom, or charisma check, the target can roll an extra die immediately after rolling d20 and add the extra die's number to the check. So that's... I feel like I must be missing something. But that's just the bardic inspiration, isn't it? But only for intelligence, wisdom, and charisma checks. Okay, let's see what some more are. When you make a melee spell attack against a target on a hit, the target takes force damage equal to 2 rolls of the bardic inspiration die. Okay, so that's different. So that's better. Let's have a little. The target becomes invisible. That's nice as well. Okay, I want to see if they are all beneficial effects. It looks like they are. Okay, I was wondering if you could affect an enemy with it, and there's some negative ones in here, but sometimes it's, good ones. Okay, so let's go back here just so I can understand how it works. You reach out to the spirits while you're holding a spiritual. You can use your bonus action to expend 1 of your and roll on the spirit table. Determine the tales So this is a bonus action to roll. You attain the tail and the short rest. You can then use an action to choose. Okay, so you use a bonus action to roll on the table, and then you use an action to actually use it. I'm still a bit confused about this first one though, because it's for 10 minutes. Whenever the target makes an intelligence, wisdom, or charisma check, the target can roll an extra die immediately after rolling the d20 and add the extra die's number to the check. So that is just the normal inspiration. Okay, so a roll table can be fun for some players. They like the randomness of it. I quite do as well. Having a very quick look through some of them, it does seem quite interesting, like this one here. The target spews fire from its mouth, which is very different to this one, which makes them invisible, and then this one that makes you do a bit more damage. So yeah, there's some quite interesting things here, and I guess it's quite fun having the randomness of not knowing what ability you're going to be able to do, and then once you've seen what ability you got on the roll, then you have to decide who you give it to, because some might be better for other players than others. So the invincible one, you might actually decide to put that on the rogue, but if you had rolled this dragon one, maybe you would have decided to put it on the barbarian at the front. 6th level. Spirits provide you with supernatural insights. You can conduct an hour-long ritual channeling spirits using your spiritual focus. You can conduct the ritual with a number of willing creatures equal to your proficiency bonus. At the end of the ritual, you temporarily learn one spell of your choice from any class. The spell you choose must be of an equal level to the number of creatures that conduct the ritual or less. The spell must be of a level you can cast, and it must be of skill or divination or necromancy. The chosen spell counts as one of your birds, blah, blah, blah. Once you perform the ritual, you can't do it again until you do a long rest, and you know the chosen spell until you do a long rest. So essentially, you could do an hour-long ritual to learn any spell. And you can conduct a ritual with a number of willing creatures equal to your proficiency bonus. The amount of creatures you use determines the level of the spell, but you can only do a spell of a level that you can cast. Quite an interesting idea. So an out of combat ability. I like the idea that you can pull in a number of willing creatures. So you can pull in party members, NPCs, people like that to be able to do the ritual with you, and that actually has a mechanical benefit to the feature. So yeah, that's quite cool. That's quite a unique idea, I think. I haven't seen much like that in the past, to be honest. So very nice. And then the last one, the 14th level College of Spirits feature. You now have the ability to nudge the spirits of tales from beyond toward certain tales. Whenever you roll on the spirit table's tale, you can roll the die twice and choose which 2 effects to bestow. If you roll the same number on both dice, you can ignore the number and choose any effect on the table. Okay, so it's just an enhancement of this feature here, which is nice. Okay, so all in all, there's some quite interesting things about this. I like the idea of the flavour of it by being able to use different spellcasting focuses. It changes you from being a lute playing bard to this spiritual style of bard you can see here in the art. I like the idea of the roll table, as long as I haven't looked through all of them, but as long as there's none which are a bit naff and not exciting to get, then I like the idea of the roll table. The level 6 spell or ability, is really interesting to me. It's really unique. How useful will it be? I think it'll be pretty useful. It will probably become something that happens every day in game, because you might as well. It's just an hour-long ritual. You just do that first thing, you get a spell that you can choose from any class, and then you have that until you do a long rest at the end of the day. And then this last one's just a little bit of an enhancement. So all in all, I like it. I will definitely be allowing people in my game to play that. And then let's go into Warlock the Undead. So it gives you some examples here of some people that might be your patrons. So, Serarak is from the... what was that book called? The Tomb of Annihilation, that's the one. Tomb of Annihilation. There's a Vampire Tyrant Cass here, which is... my brain is just not working today. Vecna's enemy, I guess. Rival, if you want to say that. And there's some other ones here as well, which is nice to give you some options. Or, of course, you can make your own. So they get expended spell list. I'm assuming all of them are very necromancery and some enchantment in there as well. But yeah, they all completely make sense to the expanded spell list. So you also get Form of Dread. So you manifest an aspect of your patron's dreadful power. As a bonus action, you transform for 1 minute, gaining the following benefits while transformed. You gain temporary hit points equal to 1d10 plus your warlock level. So temporary hit points are always very nice, but especially at first level. So that is very nice to get straight off the bat. Once during each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can force it to make a wisdom saving throw, and if failed, it becomes frightened. Once again, very nice to get at level 1. And you are immune to the frightened condition. Even better, so if you come up against a dragon, you don't have to worry about their frightful presence. You can transform a number of times equal to your proficiency, a bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. The appearance of your Form of Dread reflects some aspect of your patron. For example, your form should be a shroud of shadows forming the crown and robes of your lich patron, or your body might glow with glyphs from ancient funerary rites and be surrounded by desert winds, suggesting your mummy patron. Very nice bit of flavour there. It only lasts 1 minute, so it's not something that you're going to be doing all of the time, but it's still very nice to have, especially at level 1. I do wonder how often you're going to use this feature later on, but I suspect... Oh no, I was going to say I suspect that later it is enhanced, but it doesn't look like it is actually. But let's get on to the next one. So at 6th level, your patron powers have a profound effect on your body and magic. You don't need to eat, drink or breathe, which once again is very nice for your... for survival. So if your campaign has a lot of survival in it, that'd be nice to have. In addition, once during each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack roll and roll damage against the creature, you can replace the damage type with necrotic. While you are using your Form of Dread, you can roll 1 additional damage die when determining the necrotic damage the target takes. So necrotic in Dungeons & Dragons doesn't have many people that are... resistant to it, which is quite nice. It's only, well, undead stuff, I guess, that is. Or not all undead stuff, but some of it is. So turning your slashing damage to necrotic, for example, is quite nice. Right, next. Your connection to undeath and necrotic energy now saturates your body. You have resistance to necrotic damage, and if you transform to a Form of Dread, you instead become immune. Very nice. Immunity is always going to be nice, especially to necrotic if you are in a domain of dread, which is all about undeath and necrotic stuff. In addition, when you would be reduced to 0 hit points, you can use your reaction to drop to 1 instead and cause your body to erupt in a deathly energy. Each creature of your choice within 30 feet takes necrotic damage equal to quite a bit. You then gain 1 level of exhaustion. Once you reuse this reaction, you can't do so again for 1d4 long rests. So that's an interesting idea. So it's like the orc ability, but also you do an explosion, and as a detriment, you get 1 level of exhaustion, and you can use your reaction to... once you use the reaction, you can't do it for a couple of days rather than just 1 long rest. There's not many abilities that do that at the moment, but they have been adding more in that do more than 1 long rest. Last one, your spirit can become untethered from your physical form. As an action, you can project your spirit from your body. The body you leave behind is unconscious and in a state of suspended animation. Your spirit resembles your mortal form in almost every way, replicating your game statistics but not your possessions. Any damage or other effects that apply on your spirit or physical affects the other. Your spirit can remain outside your body for 1 hour or until the concentration is broke. When your protection ends, the spirit returns to your body, or your body magically teleports to your spirit. Your choice. While projecting your spirit, you have the following benefits. You gain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. When you cast a spell of conjuration or necromancy, the spell doesn't require verbal or somatic components or material components that lack gold cost. Okay, so you can do it a bit stealthily, which is cool. That's something that only sorcerers can get so far, so that is quite cool. You have a flying speed equal to your walking speed and can hover. You can move through objects, difficult to train, but take damage if you end inside of them. While you are using the form of Dread, which was the level 1 ability up here, once during each of your turns, when you deal necrotic damage to a creature, you will gain hit points equal to half the amount. Once you lose this feature, you can't do it again for a long rest. So this is a really cool level 14 ability. I really like the idea that you can use your action and then you pop your spirit out of your body. I quite would have liked some art for that. Maybe there is some elsewhere in the book, but something sort of like this would have been nice, where you can see the spirit coming out, but maybe there is somewhere else in the book. But all in all, this is once again pretty nice. I do like this form of Dread idea. Expanded spell list makes sense. All of the abilities are pretty good, pretty nice. Some have some unique aspects as well, so very nice. I cannot remember how both of those classes looked in the Unearthed Arcana to compare them, but I assume they're just a polished version of the Unearthed Arcana ones. So very good job, Wizards of the Coast.